Martin, since you're the last to enter the group, let me begin with you. General question.
Oh, great.
Well, listen, I want to know, you've been watching this thing, how has she handled herself? What's the big story here if you see one?
Rick, I really can't comment on that question since I'll be deciding future cases, so therefore, what's the next question? I mean, that's pretty much what we've been seeing, and so that's what you see these days when you have these Supreme Court hearings.
Sounds
no
like
one
a
really
charade.
answers any particular questions. Of course, Jeffery Toobin doesn't understand why they don't answer these questions because he wants to hear them pontificate on them, but that's how they go. Look, I mean, bottom line, it's a nice dance. Democrats control the committee. They control the Senate. She'll get confirmed, and then we'll just have a nice, wonderful 3 days here and then go on to summer vacation.
John King, when did politics become more important than getting to the facts? Because that seems to be what Roland Martin's saying, and to a certain extent, you know, the young man is right, is he not?
He's perhaps a tad overly cynical, Rick, but that's okay. Just a tad. Look, on the issues on which the committee can hold up a document and say, you know, you wrote this memo in the Clinton White House and this was your opinion, or when you were the dean of the Harvard Law School, you said you opposed the don't ask, don't tell policy against homosexuals in the military. On those issues where there's a clear documented evidence, she is saying, yes, that's my opinion. In some cases, she's saying, that's still my opinion. But in some of them, Roland's right in the sense she's saying, well, that's what I said then, and that's what I believed then, or that was my client then, and I was arguing my case then. But if I'm on the court, forget anything I ever said, because I'll be open-minded and I'll be fair, and I'll read all the briefs. And so everything I say, including this confirmation hearing, means nothing when I'm on the court, because then I'll be fair and open-minded. In defense of her, that doesn't make her special. That's been the last 15 years of Supreme Court nominations.
Right. Yeah, so true. Ed, would Ronald Reagan like her? Ed, would Ronald Reagan like her?
Ronald Reagan liked everyone. He might not appoint her, but he would like her. He may not like Arlen Specter and the behavior we've seen for the last half hour. I don't think we liked Arlen Specter anyways when he was a Republican. But I think we definitely don't like Arlen Specter today. And I think if he hadn't been defeated recently, he'd be defeated again in November.
Could we just pause for a moment where you know, in an era where politicians are so careful, to see Arlen Specter, as cranky and obnoxious as he is, just laying it all out there. I am not a likable person. There's something beautiful about it, I think.
Right, it's a true Arlen Specter. He's not up for re-election, so he can be Arlen.
You know, Rick, it's sort of interesting because we complain all the time about politicians who don't answer questions, right?
Yeah.
And we like to ask them questions. We like to get direct answers. And now it's the politicians who are complaining about Elena Kagan. And the reason that Elena Kagan is not answering their questions directly is that the last time somebody did answer their questions directly was would-be Justice Borger, who, when he answered questions directly, ended up getting in a whole lot of trouble and did not get confirmed. So since that time, we've had the Borger standard, which is you go there and you tell people, no matter how long your paper trail, and she's lucky in this sense that she does not have a huge paper trail, that you can't talk about things that are going to come before the court, or you believe in precedent and settled law, which is what you hear.
Yeah, but Rick, I've been saying all along that if they really wanted her to answer questions, they would ask a very short question and they would wait for her to answer. They don't do that. They go on 3, 4, 5 minutes.
Well, except Specter. He'll ask a question and then not let her answer, then say, I'll move on because I'm not getting a straight answer when she didn't even open her mouth. And so, you know, my feelings about him I can't say on television, but I've certainly said it on Twitter. And so...
The first time I met Arlen Specter was about 30 years ago when we were on a Codell trip overseas. Absolutely. I went down to get a cup of coffee about 6 o'clock in the morning, and the first thing he said is, I hear you're an expert on constitutional law. Is the exclusionary rule mandated by the Constitution? And I
don't answer that.
Good morning.
No, I said, if the Supreme Court says it is, it is.
Well,
at 6 a.m.
Walked off.
At 6 a.m.